All right, let's talk about the Sandringham estate. For most people, it's one of Britain's most beautiful royal homes. Picturesque gardens, a ton of history. But if you look a little closer, behind all that beauty, it's also become the final stage for a massive royal scandal.
So, let's just get right into it. How does this place, this idyllic country retreat where the royal family spends Christmas, get tangled up in a story of public disgrace? How did a place that's so beloved become the symbol of royal consequences? It's a fascinating question. To really get the full picture, you first have to see Sandringham the way the public does. And honestly, it really is a gorgeous royal haven. Let's just take a look at it through the eyes of people who've actually been there. And you hear this kind of thing all the time. This quote from some visitors really says it all, right? There's just this sense of awe. People don't see it as just some stuffy palace. They see it as a place of real, genuine beauty. And it's easy to see why they feel that way. I mean, the place is enormous. We're talking 20,000 acres. It's got these beautiful gardens, huge lakes, and of course, that famous little church, St. Mary Magdalene, where we all see the royals walking to on Christmas morning. It's also changing with the times. King Charles is leading some big conservation projects there. And, unlike a lot of royal homes, you can actually go visit. It's really open to the public. And here's the turn. Because for one member of the royal family, those picturesque gates aren't just opening for a holiday visit, they're closing behind him for what looks like a very, very long time. So this is where that idyllic image gets complicated. This beautiful estate is now set to become the new private home for the king's brother. And this is all happening after a scandal that has cost him his titles, his honors, and really his entire place in public life.
Okay, this right here is so important. He is no longer Prince Andrew. He's not the Duke of York. His official name is now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And let me be clear, this is not just some name change. It's a formal public cancellation of his entire royal status.
And this didn't happen overnight. It's been this slow, pretty painful process. It really kicked off back in 2019 when he stepped back from his duties. Then in 2022, his mother, the Queen, took away his military titles. But the final blows came just this year, when King Charles formally stripped him of everything else. So what did that final step actually look like? Well, Buckingham Palace put out a statement that, let's just say, left absolutely no room for interpretation. I mean, listen to that language. Formal notice has now been served. It's so stark, so legal. It's not just about titles. It's an announcement that he's being kicked out of Royal Lodge, the place he's called home for 2 decades. The palace also made sure to say this was all necessary and expressed sympathies for victims, framing it as a matter of accountability. And this just puts the change in such sharp contrast. Look at this. He's going from Royal Lodge, a massive 30-room mansion right in the heart of the royal world in Windsor, to some undisclosed, privately paid-for property on the rural Sandringham estate. That's 140 miles away from London. It's a massive and very symbolic downgrade. And the sheer scale of what he lost is, well, it's just breathtaking. It's pretty much everything. The style, His Royal Highness, gone. The title of Prince, gone. All his other titles like Duke of York, gone. Major honors like the Order of the Garter, gone. And on top of all of that, his home of more than 20 years. This is easily the most severe punishment of a senior royal in modern history. So what is life even going to look like for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in this new, much more isolated world on the Sandringham estate? Well, his exact new address is under wraps, but there are definitely options. The estate is dotted with more than 150 different properties, everything from pretty grand houses to more simple cottages and farmhouses. And what's so fascinating are the histories of these potential new homes. I mean, he could end up in York Cottage, a pretty low-key place where King George V used to just hang out and collect stamps. Or how about Gardens House, which, get this, was recently listed as a vacation rental on Airbnb. And then there's Park House, which has this incredible history as the childhood home of Diana, Princess of Wales. Every one of these places has its own story. But maybe the most telling possibility of all comes from the history of Wood Farm. Now, the palace has apparently said this won't be his new home, but its story just hangs over this whole situation. This is the cottage where Prince John, the so-called Lost Prince, was sent to live completely hidden from the public because he had epilepsy. The parallel, it's pretty hard to miss. Sandringham has a history of being a place where the royal family sends the people they'd rather keep out of sight.
Which really brings us to the biggest question in this entire affair. What does a move to a place that's so beautiful, but also so isolated, really mean?
So here's the bottom line. Sandringham is, no question, a beautiful place. You could absolutely call it a sanctuary. But for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a man who was once second in line to the throne, is it going to be a peaceful retreat, or is it a gilded cage? Is there really a difference between a quiet, private home and a formal and very final place of exile? That's the question that now hangs over every part of that beautiful estate.